Chris. We'll start with just what do you think the Cowboys should do?
All right, look. Did Dez Bryant have a poor year? Yes. Does he look like he's not what he used to be? Yes. I think he was in the top 5 in drop passes. He had a bad year.
He's had a decline over the last couple
He's had a decline.
You're
right.
Not just one outline year.
You're absolutely right. But that said, I don't have a clear-cut number 1 that's going to replace him. 2, he's incredibly temperamental. And if you go to him with the idea of a pay cut, even if he accepts it, he may be such a problem. We just talked about it with Marcus Peters. He may become such a problem for you that it's a negative for your team. 3, Dez Bryant, for all his issues in the past, one of them that has never been a problem is hard work. He's always been regarded as a guy that works hard. You heard him in that interview. I really think his pride is bruised because everybody is ripping him, and rightly so. He's dropped too many passes. He couldn't get open enough. He only got caught like basically half of his targets this year, which is terrible.
52% completion percentage to Dez for Dak, 70% to everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, that right there tells you what you need to know. So I think he is going to work his tail off this offseason to try to come back with a bounce-back year. He's only 29 years old. So he's going to try to have a bounce-back year. So what I would do if I'm the Cowboys, I go to him and I talk to him. Maybe it has to be Jerry because I think he trusts Jerry. I think he likes him better than Steven. Go to Jerry. Jerry talks to him. Look, we know you didn't have a great year, but we believe in you. We need you. You're our best receiver. We're not, forget all that you're hearing about, we want you to take a pay cut. We believe in you. Go out and have a great year. And if he doesn't, if it's the same old Dez as last year, then you can do it next year. You can do contract things to spread out his money.
Well, and if they were to cut him after this year, it would only cost him $4 million against the cap. After this year, it becomes very easy. This year, so here's the thing. We bang on Dez a lot on this show, and he has earned that. He has earned the criticism.
Right.
He was bad last year. Dak was worse targeting him than anybody else. He has not lived up the last few years to the contract that he did earn by those extraordinary years, 3, 4, 5 of his career. But years 6, 7, 8, as you talked about, it's been a clear downward trajectory. But if right now, let's say the Cowboys today cut Dez Bryant, you know who the best free agent wide receiver in the NFL would be league-wide? Dez Bryant. So we talk about as if the Cowboys have some great option. Like, by cutting him, you'd save $8.5 million. But who are you going to go get? Like, Jarvis Landry, who is, I mean, he catches a ton of balls, but it's 7 yards a catch every time. Jarvis Landry's been franchised, so they'd have to trade something for him and give him a huge deal. Sammy Watkins is out there, but we don't know what Los Angeles is going to try to do with Sammy. After that, it's Terrell Pryor, who had a terrible season. Mike Wallace, who is on the wrong side of 30. Like, I don't see a better option for the Cowboys who need a dynamic wide receiver.
Okay, so Broussard thinks that because of all the criticism, maybe it's enough to light a fire under him and get him to actually put the work in. You've seen, and we've talked about it, and I've heard you say, you've talked about the specific numbers of how steady the decline has been. Do you think Dez has it in him to just sort of turn it on and have numbers again like Dez Bryant?
You don't think he can get, I don't know if he can get back to what he was.
I think he can be better than he was last year. I don't think he can be a 1,400-yard, 12-touchdown guy again, and I don't think it's a lack of work. I think for Dez, I think, as you mentioned, I think he does work hard. I think Dez has not, and this is, just something I've learned from talking to CeCe, that Dez has not developed the mental side of the game enough. And now that he is not as dominant of a physical force as he was earlier in his career, the game's caught up to him somewhat. I don't think all of a sudden Dez is going to become a smarter player, but I still think even even this version of Dez Bryant, like, you want to go pay money for Kamar Aiken? How about Taylor Gabriel? Does that do something for you? Like, if the Cowboys cut him or, ask him to take a pay cut, he says no, and then they cut him, they have a huge hole at that receiver that this is just not the free agent class to need a wide receiver. Now, you want to draft a guy? Maybe you draft a guy anyway, but asking a rookie wide receiver to step in and make a big impact, that's hard as well.
I'm with you. That's why I think you have to keep him. And look, I do think Dez has been a bit humbled. Now, all this bluster we just heard on the radio, that's just trying to make yourself feel better. And, that's just selling Wolf tickets. He knows he had a bad year. He knows the criticism is legit. And I think part of that work ethic has to be getting in the film room, getting with Dak and becoming stronger at the game mentally, running better pass patterns and things like that. And the schemes. A lot of the receivers there are saying it wasn't just Dak not getting us the ball. It was the schemes that we ran that didn't get us as open as we should be. So I think they need to look at that as well.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.